Hello, my Aquarius buddies. How are you today? My greatest apologies for being so late with your reading, but my life is all sorts of backed up, and I have been trying to catch up. So thank you for that time. Okay, I am looking at the chart, and yes, we do see the red lines. However, I will say that the tension that has been getting in the way of things moving forward is busting out. It's kind of breaking up and moving along. So resistance, they cannot resist for long, for much longer. How would I put it? In about 2 weeks from now, I would say, Aquarius, you're going to hit some sort of barrier. You're going to hit a barrier that might have something to do with finances. If it's not finances, then it's resources. And how would I put it? That might stretch for the month of October for you. So hold tight to your pennies. If there is a challenge regarding resources, like moving resources, getting resources around, and if you have anything that you share with another person, you share the same home, you share the same money, you share the same couch, it may present in the next month. It's almost as if Saturn moving back into Pisces, still at the 29th degree, and still asking for motivation, still asking those questions of what can stand and what needs to go. And it may be something simple, while the rest of the world is doing whatever it's going to do, yours may have to do with cleaning out a closet. If you've been checking out the basement, you're like, hey, we can't live like this. It may be something like that, and it very well could take you the whole month to get done. So please don't chase the chickens out of the yard while you're doing that, please. As frustrations may abound, especially with Chiron in Aries, the way that it's sort of sitting because of its position, how it will be to Mars when it hits Scorpio. And of course, let's not forget Mars in Scorpio may elevate the libido. And so if there's a lot of rev going on, I've never had a problem with that. But some people have. Get that question all the time, like, when is the true love of my life going to show up? And sometimes it is about the animal portion. I'm kind of also getting that if there's like a sexual need of some sort, it may be highlighted. Let's just put it that way. It very well could be highlighted. Mars will also be squaring Venus, and every single time I have ever seen Mars squaring Venus, trining Venus, sextile Venus, whatever the aisle is, whatever the eon is, there's usually a competition. That's why I'm saying, if this is going to be a competition between your money or my money, a competition between your boots or my boots, your basement or my basement, especially if someone calls you up and they're like, oh my God, help me out. If this is a competition in, say, the marketing field, and you have to, pick up the pace when it comes to your marketing situation, especially if you have a channel or you're on social media in some way. Now, don't forget that the government itself, I never wear my hair down. It annoys me a lot. If the government comes in and puts certain restrictions down, we may see some changes with the cryptocurrency in a larger way. If there's competition with food, Yeah. Competitive edge. And you know what I'm seeing here, Aquarius, is the topic around whatever that's going to be should be notified to you sometime this week. Maybe even at the tail end of this week, because it's Wednesday. Yeah. I'm sort of waiting and sitting here because it does, for some people, it would give the bully on the playground, you know, the bully on the playground and how much fun it was. But Saturn's not going to allow that. That's the father energy. And at the 29th degree, trining your Pluto and your Pallas, if there's been a bully or bullying energy, it's not going to be. It's almost like Papa coming home telling the two kids to shut up and sit down. I mean, at least that's how I would see it. You know, who am I? I'm not. If the Mars cruising through Scorpio asks you to immediately jump into a closer situation with someone, that Aries may push it. Sort of like, I need you to be, I'm getting a directive on my, you know, a power of attorney directive, estate directive, banking accounts, checking accounts, insurance things. If someone comes into you and they're like really Speedy Gonzalez and they look at you and say, "Vámonos, we have to go down to the bank and get a loan." If this is you joining in and making your team larger and stronger, people may want to jump into that kind of business arrangement with you or partnership with you. Maybe they want to jump in bed with you. I don't know. What was that card? It's the 8 of Cups in the reverse and the Tower in the upright. Maybe they're jumping out of bed with you. I said it. I said it. I said it. Come for me. I'll bake you cookies. Yeah. Blood diseases, blood-borne diseases. Want to wash your hands a lot. There's also the energy, and you may hear it a lot in the cards. You may hear it a lot in the cards where people are talking about your love is running in so fast. Slow your roll, hippity hop, slow your roll. Because this first challenge right here that I'm looking at is sort of a competition between a male child and a female child. Put yourself wherever you need to. And dad walks in and says, "Shut up, sit down." So there's an issue that is bigger than the children. It's bigger than the wantiness of the children. One child over here is sort of like, "Papa, I need a new piano because I play so well," right? And the other child may be like, "Papa, I haven't seen you a long time. I need your company. Come throw the ball in the yard with me for a bit." So you see, one might be for attention and one might be for proud performance. And Papa walks in and goes, "I ain't doing either one of those things," because there's a nick in the PVC pipe to the sewage thing out in the street. I have real waste trying to get all up in our yard and close to our door. See? So the demand for whatever this thing is much, much, much larger. The effects of it are much, much larger than the neediness and the wantiness. Okay. However, once Mars steps into Scorpio, some of those solutions that come to you guys may be very quick, may be very fast. Sort of like, let's join together. And depending on how close that intimacy is that they're asking from you, you may want to like stop and say, "We haven't known each other that long to do something like that. Stop. You know, let's take 3 or 4 more weeks with that. Stop." Because whatever bonds you create with Mars in Scorpio, Scorpio is not one of those signs that gives up. They don't quit, they don't give up. Okay. They're also very similar to Taurus. in that they'll be a squatter if they need to. The difference between a Taurus and a Scorpio in a situation like that is that the Taurus would just think of the largest animal, a gorilla. Think of a gorilla with that face that just walks in, you know, the way that they do, and they just plop down. And you're a human, so I don't know how you're going to go up against a gorilla. That would be a Taurus. And now the Taurus brought all their friends, and they're not making a lot of noise. They don't want to be bothered, but they will sit there, and they'll eat, they'll play, they'll sleep. So trying to get this person to move is going to be challenging in the future. The Scorpio end of it is not that peaceful. It's not that peaceful. Mars and Scorpio, this is someone fighting. They're ready to fight, you know. And Venus still in Leo, they'll take a gamble on the competition for the fight. So, you know, people may get hurt a lot. So please watch where you go, keep your head up, look for your surroundings, etc., etc. One of the reasons I make such a fuss about this, Aquarius, is that Pluto is still at the beginning of your sign. It is squaring Mars. Pluto square Mars. It's not like an emotional outburst. It's more like a physical connect that's going to have Mars-like energy to it. So yes, something with the sewage system, and it just goes pop, you know, and now it's leaking into your lawn, and you don't know it until you walk out one morning to, you know, go get the dog, and you step in it. How did that happen? Oh, I was mowing the lawn, or the lawn people came over, mowed the lawn, because it's Scorpio, you have to share something. And they hit it with the blade, and I didn't know that sewage was all in the yard. So it's going to be something that whacks, you know, something that joins. Some of you may be thinking, you know, is someone going to transition and leave us early? I think it would depend on the chart, but when the divine masculine presence, for me, I look for those things in the chart, like Saturn going over the midheaven, definitely. Definitely that can bring someone who is male in your world transitioning. When Mars goes into Scorpio, it will bring one of those, maybe. However, I would sort of look at this like whoever the person is, if they pass, you and that person had beef, you know, because it can sort of turn on a lot of masculine-ish. Please be careful with your everybody, really. It really doesn't matter, because this could be ganging up on someone. You know, if you have a son or a daughter who is not very big boned at all, walking into dark places, dark alleyways, I would tell them to stay out of there, because this would be like a gang of people versus one other person. Yeah, it brings to mind a lot of those things, especially what's happening politically. However, I will not go into all of that. All I will say is you have a group of people, 2 or more, right? And then you have one person over here. Let your imagination run. All right, let's go ahead and get into the cards, Aquarius. That was a good 15 minutes.